Hey everyone, it's your boy Modern Speed bringing you another video, and in this video we're going to be discussing Kyrie Irving wanting out of Cleveland. Now, rumor has it that Kyrie Irving has requested a trade to leave Cleveland because he wants a bigger role and essentially he doesn't want to be playing with LeBron James. Now, is this a complete surprise? Not really. Throughout the time that LeBron has come back, we have heard some things that Kyrie and LeBron haven't necessarily gone along very well. But again, these are only rumors, nothing's definitive. But in this video, I want to entertain the idea. Let's say that this actually happened. Kyrie did request this trade. Where would he go and what potential trades are available? And I got two trades. These are the only two trades that I think make any remote sense if this happens. So I want to discuss that. So let's get right on into it. So the first trade I want to discuss is a trade with the Denver Nuggets. Now, part of the reason why this trade would go through is because Cleveland wants to win another championship, and Kyrie is a superstar. This guy may even become a Hall of Famer when all said and done, and LeBron doesn't want to deal with that. So they're probably going to want to trade him over to the Western Conference, so it's a bit easier for him to get to that NBA Finals. So here's the trade. So the trade is a 1-for-3 deal. So Cleveland would give up Kyrie Irving, and the Denver Nuggets would give back Jamal Murray, Wilson Chandler, and Juan Hernangomez. So let's explain why both teams would make this trade. So in terms of Cleveland, this provides you, you get a point guard back in Jamal Murray, and he's probably a perfect type of point guard to be playing with LeBron. He's not your stereotypical one. He's more of like a shooting guard or a combo guard. So he could play off LeBron. He's a great shooter, so he'll help stretch the floor for LeBron. So he'll definitely help in that regard as well. And he's pretty young. He's a young prospect, so he can grow with this roster, and it kind of brings some incentive for LeBron to stay in the future. Juan Hernangomez helps out with up front. You know, a guy that can help up at that center position, weak position for the Cavaliers. And again, he's a young player as well. So, you know, he could help, again, a prospect that can grow. And if he grows a lot next year, again, helps hopefully convince LeBron to stay in Cleveland. And lastly, Wilson Chandler. You know, he's a guy that, great role player. You can have him come off the bench. Definitely a scorer. And on top of that, if you're going to be running a small lineup, you can run him at the 4. So it helps the Cavaliers in that sense. Again, bring in younger prospects, and you're bringing in some more role players for this roster. In terms of Denver, the reason why Denver would probably make this trade is because, for one, they don't really have a definitive point guard right now. You know, Emmanuel Mudiay, who they drafted about 2 years ago, you know, he hasn't really panned out. And Jameer Nelson, you know, he's getting a bit older. So, you know, you bring Kyrie, he can be your point guard. And on top of that, he's a proven scorer. And that's something I think Denver is missing. They don't really have that go-to scorer. You know, they do have some great players coming up, you know, like Nikola Jokic. They just signed Paul Millsap. You know, you got Will Barton and Gary Harris. These are guys that can build off of. But you bring Kyrie, and now you have a proven scorer. You got a guy that's won a championship, and a guy that's been to the finals a couple times. So I think this could get Denver to that next hump and, you know, starting to compete in that Western Conference because they got the pieces there. So that's why I think this trade would happen. I think this is the most ideal trade. It just helps out both teams for what they need right now. Now the second trade. So the second trade I don't think would happen, but it's a possibility. And this trade is you trade Kyrie to New York. Now, do I think it's going to happen? Probably not, but this trade would happen depending on how much LeBron wants to play with Carmelo. So let's talk about the trade. So the trade would be simply Kyrie and Iman Shumpert for Carmelo and Willy Hernangomez. Now, again, why do the Cavaliers make this trade? Again, let's say that LeBron really wants to play with Carmelo. You bring in Melo. And this also makes sense in terms of why they've been talking with Derrick Rose for the last this week. So you bring in Derrick Rose after once you make this trade. So now you have a starting point guard, and then now you have this kind of big five type lineup to run. So maybe that's why the Cavaliers do this trade. And on top of that, you bring in Willy Hernangomez, again, young prospect, helps them up front, and a guy that you can bring off your bench. And again, hopefully you can convince LeBron James to stay next year. In terms of New York, again, why not make this trade? You get Kyrie Irving, a young guy, to play along with Kristaps Porzingis, and you bring in Iman Shumpert. I mean, they had him before, but now you bring him back, and now you kind of got some young guys that you can build off of and go from there and hopefully do a rebuild properly this time. But back to the Cavs. Do I think this trade would work? Probably not. That lineup just looks a bit weird. It's like a Biggie Small lineup, right? Where at the wing, you're really big at the 3 and 2 with LeBron and Melo. But up front, you're kind of small, and defensively, it's not all that great with Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love. And even when you add in Carmelo, defensively, that lineup just looks very porous. So do I think this would happen? Probably not. Oh, and on top of that lineup in Cavs would be running a very fast-paced offense. And the reason for that is the only way this roster is going to win, especially given the defensive deficiencies it would have, they would have to be outscoring their opponents a lot. So they'll be playing a fast pace, and I don't think that's necessarily a good thing for Cleveland, especially given that they have a lot of older players, and they're not really getting that much younger with this trade. In retrospect, they're getting older. So anything, I doubt this trade would happen. I do think that trade with Denver would be a very interesting one to see. But anyways, let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you think this trade will happen? Do you think these rumors are true? Do you think Kyrie will actually leave? To be honest, I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't see any trades that look viable at this point. Again, other than that Denver trade, if it even happens. So we'll see. Anyways, let me know. Leave a comment down below. It's your boy Modern Speed, signing out. Later, everyone.